All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Otis Funkmeyer, and we are live with Jordan. So
What up?
I'm about to hit Jordan with some shit that he had no idea was coming. I'm very excited about this one because, unbeknownst to Jordan, Jordan has become one of my best friends, and I was realizing that when preparing for this and seeing that, like, increasingly when I have my own life conundrums, I talk to Jordan about them. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. So what's exciting to me in that respect is that I feel like on some level we have like a tremendous amount of simpatico, but at another level, like we don't really know each other at all. Like we only met, like a few months ago or something.
I mean,
so
we met in Sabela's class.
well, right, but we didn't. But that's right. We met
Yeah.
So we were both, though. I thought he had no interest in meeting me, and he said, "What's up, Lou?" He said that he was too shy at that time. So I feel like that's part of the reason is that I think fundamentally both Jordan and I are like kind of like, hey, hi, people at some level, and
At least at first.
right, exactly. At least at first. And so I'm super excited. So another thing to say is that as I've gotten to know the younger generation more and more, I've discovered that like he's their hero. Like a lot of the kids that are in the generation just beneath him, like they tell me that they kind of grew up going to Homeland or going to this event or that event and seeing Jordan and wanting to dance like Jordan. And I don't know his whole story because the time when he was going, I wasn't around. So what's up, E-Bone? And so with that said, as I like to do, like let's start at the beginning. So I know you're from the Bay. Were you born in the Bay?
Yeah. Also, what up, Jose and Lou?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in San Francisco.
In the city.
In the city.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the hospital.
Sure.
And I was there until I was 2.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were just kind of doing their thing, working. We had an apartment.
You have
And
an older brother?
no older brother. I have one younger brother.
Younger brother.
By 4.5 years.
Okay.
And I remember the story they tell me is that they took me to a playground out there, and I was playing in the sandbox, and then sitting right next to me, they saw a hypodermic needle, and they were like, all right, we're out of here.
The more things change in San Francisco, the more they
Yeah.
remain the same.
Yeah. So then we moved out to Alameda, which is just across the bay.
Mm-hmm.
Like next, kind of near Oakland Airport is where I live.
Mhm.
And we bought a house from some family friends who I didn't know were just family friends. I thought they were just family because
Mm-hmm.
I just referred to them as uncle. It's a gay couple.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they're like two of the most amazing men I've ever met. And I just thought they were both like my uncles, and they just lived together because that was like cool to
Yeah,
hang
it's
out.
fun. Yeah. Friends are fun.
And I remember asking them, I was probably like 10 or something, and they were like, oh, we're going to go to Uncle Tom and Uncle Roger's wedding, because that was the first time they were
Wow.
allowed to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, guys can get married? And they're like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, they just like play video games or something. Like,
What video game system were you playing when you were 10 years old to date you?
I was probably playing 64.
Okay.
Or
So I want to just jump in and
maybe
say
that was still, I don't know. Yeah.
it's what's really interesting to me about Jordan is that he is this whole generation in so many different ways that I don't know anything about. Like that's the console era that I don't know anything about, right? That's the popping era I don't know anything about. So so I just want to preface it by saying there's going to be a lot of things that probably a lot of you know about that I don't know about. So okay, so what are you into around this time? Like other than video games?
Like when I'm like 10?
Yeah.
Video games, sports.
Mic closer.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Video
okay.
games, sports. Like I played soccer and basketball growing up.
Uh-huh.
Played baseball for like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years.
How about my theory with like skating and soccer? like
oh,
JG and Green Tech.
they
And all
both
that.
skated and played soccer.
They both played soccer like professionally, and then Todd and Slim and Tetris all skate, and
Got it.
Diesel were like serious.
I mean,
skaters.
I was a tier below professional. I was like just barely making JV.
Okay.
So I wasn't
All right.
I wasn't super sick with it, but I played soccer for like 10, 11 years.
Mhm.
Basketball for like 15.
Mhm.
Skated for like 5 years or something like that. Yeah. I was always just kind of, I don't know, active. Yeah.
And another thing that when I was prefacing it, I meant to say is one of the things that Jordan and I connect on a lot is like logic. I feel like, and philosophy, and like a logical approach to philosophy and tech stuff. So what were you into in that regard as a kid, like school wise? Were you like always good at math and science, or good at anything in particular?
School,
Were you even into school? Were you not into school?
I mean, I showed up. I can't say I was terribly engaged or successful.
I mean, did you have any of that? Let's start with it. So you're what, half Irish, half Asian? Japanese
Yeah,
Asian.
I'm half
That's
I'm half Japanese and half white mutt, like
White mutt,
Irish,
okay.
Swedish, Scottish, German.
So
some
did the
others as well.
Japanese part of you push you to succeed academically, and that's more
No,
than
well, I'm third generation Japanese. My grandpa never went to Japan. He was born here, and then he had the whole fucked up situation of getting interned and like
yeah.
joining the army, going to the war.
not intern like for a company.
On those unpaid internships,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Like,
not enough. Yeah.
But so I was like, I'm pretty American, like all things considered. We have like there's a very strong Japanese American community in the Bay, and we were certainly a part of that. I would go to the Obones in the summer at my grandpa's temple, but by and large, we were just American.
This is a Buddhist temple, not like Shinto or something.
No,
Yeah.
it was Buddhist. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so when does dancing start?
Dancing
coming into your
starts
life?
like end of high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I, like elementary through most of high school, I was just kind of a diminutive, like insecure. There it goes.
There it goes.
Insecure, disengaged, like
Why
just kid.
you're of all the people I know, I feel like you're one of the most comfortable being like self-effacing in that way. Like I feel like a lot of people would protect their ego from calling themselves like diminutive or something. Why?
Yeah,
what
well,
makes
I
you
mean, I was
comfortable?
diminutive in more ways than one at that time, though.
Okay.
Like, I had a growth spurt in high school.
Okay.
So I was always the smallest kid in my class.
Okay.
Really? Yeah. And I was born at the end of November, so it was on the cusp of like whether they hold
Of
me
course.
off a year
Yeah.
or not. My parents put me in a year early,
Oh,
and
so
I always
you started at 4. You started
Yeah, I was
kindergarten
4
at
years old.
I did too.
yeah.
Interesting.
So I always give my parents shit like, oh, if you guys had just waited one more year, I could have been in the NBA right
Yeah.
now. Like, nah, but
Yeah.
so I was just like a young, kind of underdeveloped, and really shy,
Yeah.
introverted kid. And so until like my sophomore year of high school, I got into high school. I was like 5'4",
Uh-huh.
and I grew like almost 6 inches while I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I'd say somewhere around my junior year, I started beginning to round into form and come out of my shell a bit.
Yeah. Same.
And then I started dancing like my senior year of high school. And that was because, I don't know do you know Tic Tactics Crew?
Yeah,
the Bay
I
Area?
do, because they used to battle MGF in the like, Boogaloo Pimp
so
Kazoo era.
I don't know what generation of Tic Tactics they were, but 2 of those guys went to my high school, and they would do these talent shows together. Their names were Steve and Juan. I think.
What were their dance names? Do you remember?
I know Steve was Sega Steve, I think.
Okay, all right.
And I think Juan might just be
Juan.
Juan, yeah. But they would do these talent shows, and they were just like fun. Like they were really entertaining. It wasn't like super technical popping necessarily. Like they would do the wiggle walk and stuff. And
Right.
I just thought it was the coolest shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. So that was my introduction. Was like poppers basically.
Did you hang out with them at all?
I mean, they were both on the basketball team.
Okay.
But like I said, I was I was super shy, and people feast on that in that world, right? Like in that competitive world.
Okay, in the jock.
Yeah, so it's not like I wouldn't say we were like friends or anything like that.
Wait, but how many people is the basketball team? It's
Well,
like
I mean,
12
like
people or
varsity is
something?
like 12 people, JV's like 12, freshmen's like 12
It's
or
not that
15.
many people.
Yeah, but you know, when you are the 24th most confident out of 24, like, you know, people will pick up on that sometimes, right?
Oh, he needs a hug. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing? How did you get introduced to actually trying to dance? And what? Because it was b-boying first, right?
Well, no, it was popping first. I just started doing it at my house by myself. I was way too shy to go out. And,
Sure,
like,
but how?
ask anyone or
how did you even like? Was YouTube around?
Yeah, it was just like just starting up, I think.
So how did
yeah, I
you
would just
find anything to try?
you know, like watch music videos, like copy the moves I saw Steven Wan doing, like, which ended up being like, you know, like the wiggle walk.
Sure.
Wiggle walk was like my shit, like when I was in high school.
How did you figure it out?
I just kind of did it. I
Do
don't
you
know.
think is it possible that you have a decent amount of skill at seeing movement and
It's hard to say because I would do it a lot. I would just like dance by myself at my house a lot. So I think I was just practicing a ton but not getting any knowledge. So I was definitely that guy like who would, if I showed up to a popping battle, I'd like do a circle glide with a wave, like hit the wiggle walk.
yeah.
Maybe like
Some might
tick
even
walk a little
some
bit.
might even argue that you're still not a real popper.
Many would.
Okay, cool. So then what was your first experience of actually showing some group of people outside your family that like you actually try to do this thing?
So my senior year of high school, which was after Steve and Juan had graduated,
Okay.
you know, there was a void of like kind of dance.
Dope dancers. Yeah.
So my senior year, I did like the school talent show.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when everyone knew like, wow, Jordan dances. And then I did the wiggle walk.
Yeah.
Would you say Abe? Many would. Oh. So for reference,
Yes.
did you meet Abe?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Abe Chuang is one of the creators of Arigato Crew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is my crew.
Okay.
Represent. He lives in New York now.
Okay.
But we can talk about him later.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah.
Talent show, wiggle walk.
Oh yeah, I did the wiggle walk, and then no one knew the name of it or anything.
Sure,
Right?
of
Neither
course.
I didn't even know the
Yeah,
name.
sure.
And so everyone were like, "Yo, Jordan, hit that scarecrow walk again!" Like when I would walk through the halls after that. Yeah.
How was the talent show like judged?
No, it was just like
It was just put on your
yeah,
talent.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did your popularity go up?
Oh, it skyrocketed.
Wow.
Yeah. I went from like my junior year of high school, like I barely even went to prom because I like, you know,
Yeah.
I was scared. I was too scared to ask anyone.
Yeah,
Like,
sure. Yeah.
I didn't know how to dance at all.
This guy's so real. It's amazing. I love it. Uh-huh.
And then my senior year, I was like one vote shy of prom king. Like, yeah,
What's up?
not.
What's
But
What's up?
yeah, like I think senior year is when I really started to come out of my shell,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like I've been a very late bloomer. In many respects on the kind of developmental side, like just physically I developed kind of late. And then the fact that I only started to come out of my shell when I was like graduating high school,
Sure.
I missed all this time that I could have been experimenting, like getting data about how to interact with humans and shit. And so I had to do that when I was in college.
Love it. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel for you because I was in the same boat, but my junior year of high school, I went to a boarding magnet school. And because it was like Freaks and Geeks High, I was thus able to like start over there. So my junior year of high school was like college. And I always thought, so by the time I went to college, I was like super cool.
Got
and
it.
I was like, oh my God, thank God I had that because I would be so scared right now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so when I got to college, it was like I was learning stuff that I feel like I probably should have learned when I was a freshman or a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, for sure. I super get that. So how did you pick schools? How did you end up at UCLA?
It was the best school I got into.
Okay, that's
It was,
good.
but coincidentally, it was also the school when the counselors asked me when I was a freshman, like, where do you want to go? I wanted to go to UCLA.
Did it have anything to do with the athletic program? Or like the teams?
The basketball team kind of came up like right as I got there, so that was not part of the decision.
What was it?
It was a good, really good school.
Yeah.
LA is a cool place.
How did you know about LA being a cool place?
I have relatives down here,
Okay.
and I would come occasionally, like very occasionally. But I just wanted to be in a city. I wanted to be in a big city. I wanted to go to Miami, actually. Miami University.
Yeah, sure.
That was on an athletic front because they had the sick ass football team around there.
Sure.
But my parents were like,
Right,
the
Miami,
out-of-state tuition is going
right.
to be ridiculous.
It's also a private school, I think, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I didn't actually get around to applying there.
All right.
But yeah, I felt super lucky to get into UCLA because I got rejected from Santa Barbara.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa.
and I got rejected from San Diego.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is super lucky.
Yeah. So it was like, for me, it was between UC Davis and UCLA. And when I thought about like, where would be the more fun place to hang out, all respects to Davis, right?
Yeah, sure.
LA is the place, man. And that decision drastically altered my future.
Yeah.
if I was not in LA, was that Kev represent UCLA? If I was not in LA during these like what ended up being my formative years, because I had started this process of coming out of my shell so late, I could have ended up in a completely different place. Yeah.
Dude, I have on my I didn't realize how much you and I relate on this. I have on my website, like my bio, talking about if I hadn't gone to that math and science high school, I feel like I could have ended up like the 40-year-old virgin or something. And I'm so glad that didn't happen, because that would suck so much compared to actual reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, those choices that like define everything. Because like here you are, you're basically here.
Yeah. Like I'm an Angelino.
Right?
And, like,
yeah, like since your freshman year of college, right?
Yeah. And it's hard for me to visualize myself leaving LA for a very long duration of time. Like I love Los Angeles.
Yeah, me too. Best city on earth, frankly.
And also I think there was an element of like, I almost feel like I didn't deserve it, because I wasn't an insanely good student. Like I showed up to class.
Sure.
I did my homework.
You're talking in high school or
in
college?
high school?
Okay,
well, both, I guess.
Okay.
I didn't study for shit. I took the minimum difficulty classes I could.
What is this? This is a little bit of a tangent, but what is this dichotomy? Before we went live, I was telling Jordan, the hardest thing for me to read about him is whether he's like super on it person, because for anybody that doesn't know, I'm sure we'll go into this more. I feel like he trains more systematically than anyone I personally have trained with or seen their training. But then simultaneously, I hear this thing about like, I would assume that a person like that would also be like, they'd take school super seriously. And, what is that? If you had to like psychoanalyze yourself?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a rejection of who I was before and all the kind of opportunities I missed growing up. That's honestly, I think, where it stands, because around my junior year, like, so at UCLA, I was getting my ass beat, right? Because
academically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly academically. Because suddenly, like, if you don't study, like you're just fucked. And like I couldn't take just the easiest classes anymore. And so I had to teach myself how to study, which I never got super good at, because I'm not good at just sitting still for really long durations, which is kind of ironic again. Given the training, like Tuesdays, like we just stand there.
Totally.
And
do you feel like one of the I've been thinking about this for myself recently. I feel like one of the things that I'm happiest about my life is that at some point I began to exhibit no capacity to really put myself into anything other than what I was like deeply passionate about. And I feel like the good part of that is that it sort of set the course of my life for me, because it was just like, okay, I'm going to work hard at the things I care about, and everything else, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to make me work at them.
Yeah.
Do you have some of that?
I think it was, at least maybe now, definitely. But when I was younger, I wasn't really passionate about anything. I was just kind of confused about like what's life like.
Hey, the more things change. the
Yeah,
more
like
they
I was
say
I was
the
super
same.
argumentative because shit just never made sense to me.
Uh-huh.
Like all my soccer coaches told my parents like, oh, he's gonna be a fine lawyer someday, like because I just loved arguing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just kind of disengaged. The only thing I worked hard on was video games. Like I played Counter-Strike competitively.
Okay.
um, and I would like honestly like looking back, I would like do drills. Like I would wake up in the morning, like practice a specific shot over and over again. Um,
So, to stay on that momentarily, like in my generation, the person that I saw that with was Tetris, who seemed to be able to practice a tut combo over and over and over. And when I thought about it and talked to him about it, it was because that's how you learn skate tricks. You just do the same
mm,
trick over and over, and then one day you get it. So, do you see any overlap between like the gaming, drilling, and what you do now with drilling?
Yeah. I think that experience was the first time I had like a self-driven
Uh-huh.
hard work moment in my life.
Uh-huh.
Because like, even with like I thought to whatever degree my immature self could in high school, I thought I was working so hard
Yeah.
when I was on the basketball team. Because I would show up to practice every day, I'd go home dripping sweat, blah blah blah. But I wasn't doing any extra work. Like, and while I was there, I wasn't like mentally there all the way. Like I would, again, like I was the least confident person on the court, and I would just let that defeat me. I'd be like, it got so bad sometimes that my coach, he would call out while we were bringing the ball down the court in scrimmages, like, Jordan, if you don't shoot it this time, I'm taking you out the game, and or out of the scrimmage. And so I would get the ball, and for fear of missing or looking bad, I would just pass it, and he'd take me out. Like I was just like, and so if I really think about it, like I was not working that hard. And I think that's a trap because I thought I was. I think that's a trap a lot of people can get into. You like, if you just like very high level count the hours that you put into something, oh hell yeah, I was working hard. But what I was getting out of those hours was like maybe 5% of what I should have been getting.
So this is maybe like deliberate practice versus
Deliberate practice, and also just
mindless
like
practice.
just putting it like on a more macro level, just like putting an honest effort in. Like I think being able to identify when you're honestly engaging with something versus not makes a huge difference. And then you can get into more particular things about what specifically am I practicing. But I think so I feel the same way with workouts. Like so a lot of times when people get started, they're like, oh, you know, I gotta, if I want hypertrophy, I gotta do this, this, and this. I gotta do slow reps, like blah blah blah. Like first things first, like make sure you're down to work out 5 days a week. And once you've hit this general sense inside yourself that you're ready to put in the work, honestly, then start working on the details. Yeah. And that is something that increasingly, I think, weighs on how I practice. Because there was a period of time, like right after I met Tabo, that I was like straight on the detailed side of things. And honestly, as a person, I was just kind of living on technicality. Like, and that allowed me still to hide. Like you can hide behind technique and you can hide behind technicality in discussions and in your life.
Yeah.
And so once I learned how to kind of work hard, which sort of happened, even the Counter-Strike stuff, that was happening in college,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So college was the first time I ever worked hard in my life, basically. And
In fairness to you, since I think of you as somebody really hard on yourself, there's many people that never learn that.
Maybe.
Especially self-directed
maybe
hard work.
Yeah. But yeah, so like college, I worked hard on video games. I saw results, and I feel like
So
once
when you
I
say
saw
you
proof
played
in the
professionally,
pudding,
like how
I didn't play
far?
professionally. I played competitively.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the
actually one of my teammates just joined.
Oh, Ben.
Ben.
What's up, Ben?
Oh yeah, it's Ben. Yeah.
Hey, Ben.
He was on my team. But yeah, it was just like we played in leagues. We scheduled practices, built strategies and whatnot. And there was just like a dedication to it that I enjoyed, and it was fun because, or it had such a big impact on me because it was one of those things like I got to see the proof in the pudding. And that doesn't always, that's kind of hard on sort of like longitudinal kind of development developments in your life.
Me would
Like
good
things that take a
analogy-
while.
Yeah, like when you
like
see,
bopping, like
Yeah,
the shake.
sure. Or even the analogy I'm thinking of is like for people to understand, like when your parents put a mark for your height, and it's so slow
yeah.
that if you didn't have
Day
that
to day,
mark,
you don't really notice you're growing. You grow anyway, but
Yeah.
like, but yeah, pretty much. And so like once I got a little taste of what it was like to put work in off the front end and just kind of pay it forward, not really notice the day to day growth, but stare back a year and see the development. Damn, there's like, oh no, that's Kevin. Okay. There's like I don't know. There's just like it just gave me a whole new perspective on everything, and so suddenly I got really into fitness,
Mm-hmm.
and I was willing to
When?
kind of college, like
Okay.
third year of college. I took a
Okay.
diet and exercise class,
Okay.
and part of that was like doing these like self assessments, like how much you can bench at the beginning and end of class, your BMI, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I got really into fitness for a while. Well, I mean that's kind of carried with me today.
For sure.
Yeah. I saw the proof in the pudding there. Then around 2009, so all through college, I like wasn't really popping.
Okay.
When I got to college, I got way more into breaking with Abe and the other guy that created Arigato Crew, Perry.
Yeah.
I met Perry my first day at UCLA. He was practicing down in in Covell where I where we hold the UCLA session today even.
Yeah.
And I started like hanging out with them, getting down with them. I was still super shy at that point. Perry used to tell me like I would just show up to practice and stretch, like because I was too scared to get in there sometimes. But 2008, I injured my shoulder, and I had
How?
surgery. Probably from breaking. I used to do these like side inverts that probably were biomechanically not sound.
Sure.
And I was just throwing them.
Yeah.
So I had surgery. I re-aggravated it playing basketball, and then
Just
I was,
pick up basketball.
I was playing intramurals.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically pick up.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, I was kind of like, wow, I can't really break that hard anymore. Like I can't really put my body into it like that. And I don't really want to.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yo, Kevin just said Warriors are down by 15, bro. Hold up. Nah, man. We're watching this shit.
He's watching it. Oh shit, Smoke. What's up, Smoke?
Fuck, where was I?
The biomechanics.
Oh yeah.
So Chad and I discussed that too off camera, that both of us had our own realizations at some point. We're like, oh, I'm not like super durable. Like this isn't gonna. I'm not gonna be able to, be that guy.
Yeah. So I'm a little like that, I guess. So I was like kind of, not even really dancing a whole lot. And then around that time, do you know Moosh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
Musashi. He was
Yeah.
starting to practice at UCLA at that
Okay.
time with our other friend Felix.
Uh-huh.
And they were like telling me like, "Oh, bro, just come get back into popping, man. Like you were always way better at popping than you were at breaking." So I started joining them again, and it was like super fun.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that school year,
here, okay?
was that?
Put the bottle there.
Oh yeah.
Just-
All right.
Okay.
All right. And so around then I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try hard on this, like.
Uh-huh.
And so the following school year was probably some of the hardest training I've ever done in my life. Just like on a CrossFitness level. Like
Uh-huh.
I would go to class, then I would grab a quick lunch, go to the gym, practice for like 3 hours, go lift weights, go play basketball for like 4 hours, go stretch for an hour, and then go home and practice, and then do whatever shred of homework I felt like doing. Like I was like super on it. That was definitely the best shape of my life.
Wow. And where is this before or after or during Sabella's class where we first met?
It was probably around that time because I wasn't taking any dance classes at UCLA before I was trying hard. Oh no, I took Sabella's class once during the summer.
Uh-huh.
Before that.
Okay.
But yeah, like I took Sabella's class like 12 times. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, I took his class so many times.
Yeah, you were intimidatingly good
What?
then. when I, when you were in that class already.
I don't know about that.
You really were.
So my friend Spencer just chimed in.
Yeah,
I know him back from first grade.
Wow.
And when we were in seniors in high school together, we would all go to our friend's house and film like kind of You Got Served, like little videos of our own of each other battling and shit. Yeah. So that's one of the only people I still keep up with from high school. Actually, I've been pretty bad about that.
Yeah. Life. I don't know anybody that's good at that at this point. What do you major in college?
So I went in as a biz econ major.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, I still wasn't really into hard work.
Yeah.
And so I went to orientation, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is a tough major. You got to maintain this GPA." And at that orientation, I was like, "I'm switching to psychology." So I switched to psych like right away. Yeah.
God, after I did the thing with Pop and John, Chad messaged me and he's like, "Dude, Pop and John and I are like the same person." And that's how I'm feeling with you right now. Like that's literally exactly what I did all through school.
Mm-hmm.
Once they told me something was easy, I took that. Once they told me something was hard, I quit that. But I read the way I've come to feel good about it, just anecdotally, is I read this book called, I want to say, The Type Z Guide to Becoming a Multimillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this guy who started randomly a publishing company, and he ended up publishing this book called Creative Visualization, and it sold, like, it wasn't his book, but he published it. It sold like 20 million copies or something, and he became like super rich, and all he talked about was how his lifestyle, like, he didn't do anything. He just like woke up late and like hung around and just like wore sandals all day and everything. My prediction, I love predicting live, is that that's ultimately Jordan's destiny. He's going to be this like rich guy that like just is.
Yeah, I do stuff now, man.
Like that. I no, but I mean in a very I predict as time goes on you become like both less type A and more, because that's the thing. That's because I feel that way too. Like a lot when people come over here and they see my whole setup and they see what I do, they're like, "Wow, dude, you really work hard," And there's an element of truth to that, but it's also self-directed. That very little of what I do I experience as work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you strike me as similarly, like having a similar predilection.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of half. You're gonna find this pretty much
every time, every conversation I have with him, and I think his friends, since it seems like a bunch of his friends are here in the chat, like this is such my experience with Jordan that I both enjoy and find frustrating, like simultaneously. It's like no matter what I say, sometimes he doesn't even know this, but sometimes I've to test out this hypothesis, I'll throw different sides of a thing at him, and he'll on both sides find sort of like potential counter points to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the faux logician in me.
Okay, I think just for what it's worth, I mean, I'm the chronology stuff is not over, but I'm now gonna start just kind of free associating this stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so when do you meet Tabo? Let's get to the important.
So let's skip
question.
like a few years.
Yeah.
That was end of 2011.
Okay.
In like early 2011.
Yeah.
My friend Felix, he brought me out to a battle, and kind of introduced me to a few people, Kumse and Slim and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so I went to one other battle after that, and it was a funky soul battle.
Mm-hmm.
I made like top 8 or something like that. But Kumse was like, "Wow, like where'd you come from?"
Yeah.
I was like, I've been in LA for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I started like practicing around those guys like Tiger D, Slim, Kumse. They were all practicing together in K-Town at the time.
Yeah.
Mark Flux.
Yeah.
Mark Flux was like my training partner for like a year.
Okay.
And eventually Slim introduced me to Tabo because I was always just like peppering Slim with questions.
Yeah.
And a lot of it just boiled down to stuff that Tabo had taught him. So he introduced me to Tabo. I started training with him at Tsuyoshi place.
Okay.
In Little Tokyo. We would go there like once a week.
Yeah.
and or maybe it was twice a week. I can't remember, but I'd practice there a lot with him. And yeah, he just kind of like turned my dance world upside down because I didn't have any contextual knowledge about the game or the techniques. Like when I first got back into dance or into popping, like all I knew to hit was my tricep and my chest.
Okay.
I didn't know wrist.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything ever went on with the lats or the shoulders or the abs or the hips or legs really.
Yeah.
And I knew like super duper basic like boogaloo ideas because I had seen a couple clips of Aki and Pete.
Yeah.
I took like one Pete workshop and like I took one class from Bionic when I was in the Bay. I just had no knowledge.
Yeah.
So Tabo was the first time that I saw like, oh, there's some like official shit here. There's some like real like solidified, codified kind of knowledge to get. And I latched onto that immediately.
And why do you think it was that you latched onto it immediately? Because it's so rare that people do that with Tabo. You know what I mean? It's very often I feel like people come to it later out of necessity rather than because the combination of his demonstrations aren't necessarily super
I think I had a little proof in the pudding before I ever met him, just seeing Slim.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair.
Because for me at that time, like that was also the time that Slim introduced me to Tabo.
Yeah.
That was around the time I just started noticing, like, I was like, wow, everyone is biting Slim around the whole world.
Yeah.
Yep. And it wasn't even just technique. Like his timing was just like on such another level, and it still is. But like the game has kind of caught up to where he was in 2011, 2012.
Right.
But yeah, like I could see like all the famous dancers still were starting to put in those little like just like little things and I was like, damn, like Slim must be getting like kind of frustrated at all these fools. But I already knew because Slim was always like, oh yeah, like Tabo taught me everything. Like, so I already knew like that was the real shit before I even got to train with him. And he's just like such a nice guy, like unassuming, really freely gives his knowledge away. And I just like, like I want to be like him in a lot of ways.
Man, I feel like he is going to have single-handedly, when it's all said and done, not only the technique that he's given all of us, but this mentality of like, it's okay to just give everything, without hesitation, without looking for anything in return is, I think it's rare for any pursuit to have a person with that level of knowledge, as Chad calls him Yoda.
Yeah. I refer to him as Mr. Miyagi because he's like this kind of hidden like hermit like guy. I mean, he still comes to hang out.
Yeah, sure.
But he's the truth. Like
yeah. And so jumping around still, so I take this class with you at UCLA, and then I don't see you for
a number of years.
Yeah, a number of years. But at some point I see you battling J-Rock and J Smooth with Phil. And I was like,
no, they were the judges.
Who were you battling then?
I was battling Dinoy and Breeze.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I was like, wait, this dude pops crazy now? Wait, when did this happen? Like I thought you were like a b-boy hip hop dancer, and so when are you starting to go from like top 8 to being recognized and
I don't know, like because it's depending on who I'm around. I'm either I'm anywhere from winner level to like not even on the radar and everything in between. So it really depends where I'm at, and it honestly depends on me, right? Like I'm a very up and down kind of person, not in like not super emotional, but like the way I feel about my dance is very up and down because pretty much every time I reach a new level and I think I understand some shit, almost immediately, like maybe I'll sit there for like a week, almost immediately I'll call it into question and I'll try to test its foundation. So I'll drop back down into the mud and make sure that things are as they seem. And then I'll scoop up even higher, and then I'll drop down, scoop up even higher. So I spend more time down in the mud than I do up at top. Yeah.
And how have you come to, accept that? Because that's a really, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
proof in the pudding.
we're getting into philosophy.
Yeah.
But that's like, that's a really hard thing
Yeah.
about doing this long term.
I think a lot of things contributed to helping that out, because I would see all the little diagrams of like what we think success looks like and then what it actually is, right?
Right. It's a good one.
And so I had some inkling that other people were kind of thinking about
Okay.
the same stuff.
Okay.
And then after I had already kind of developed this idea of the shape of my dance kind of going like this, and just like, again, if I stare back, the retrospective is like, wow, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
I saw this talk that Lauryn Hill gave, like after Miseducation came out.
Yeah.
And she basically described the exact same thing, and she was right, like even beyond like what anyone
Peak
could even
of
think
culture.
of, right?
Yeah.
And she was saying, I'm kind of like in this trough right now, like, and I think that's just part of learning. And then at that point, I was like, okay, like, I'm really not the only one that's feeling this.
So how did you respond to that? Because again, I'm asking you this because I think of you as a very kind of like systems thinker. So what was when you kind of took this in, that this is the reality of pursuing something, what did it make you do? I might be leading you to like talk about you being disciplined, because that's how I think of you, but you don't have to go in that direction.
I mean, it was just a lot of trial and error, right? Like, and for anyone that doesn't know, like me and Otis always talk about like lean startup and just like the general idea of like iteration as progress. And so I was just trying out different approaches. Early on, like 2012, I got into this huge rut. Like I felt like I was in a slump for like almost a year. And I was training my ass off, dude. I was practicing like 7 hours a day and coming away from these sessions. Yeah.
How do you even do that?
Well, at that time, I was kind of in between jobs because I'd come back from a long trip in Taiwan, and I was taking some classes at Art Center for advertising with Abe, the guy. We almost went there together, and I was just like doing like part-time work, so I had a lot more free time, and I had gotten out of a long-term relationship, so I was kind of sad, just trying to take my mind off things. But so I was just pounding the pavement because by that time, I'd been training with Tabo for a while, and I kind of knew in my head, I was like, I want to see how far I can take this. Like, I want to see if I'm actually capable of like getting to a really high level at anything in life, and maybe even just using that experience as a jumping point for whatever else I want to pursue, not necessarily as a professional dancer. So I was training my ass off, but I was feeling no progress. I felt like I was going backwards. And it boiled down to, I think, my mindset. Like I was just each practice that didn't feel good, I would try to force it even harder the next time and force it. I was just brute forcing the shit out of the process. And after a year of it not working, I tried something else. I iterated, albeit not as quickly as probably a startup would like to.
And what did you learn from that you've taken forward with it in terms of, because ruts come and go, and
just acceptance, like
so
really,
if you feel in a rut now, instead of forcing it,
and like I'll still force it to a degree, like making sure I'm practicing and whatnot, but if I come away from a session feeling like I wasn't killing it, or my feeling was off, or my technique sucked, or I couldn't get any new ideas, anything like that, like I just don't judge it. Because nothing good comes from that at all. Like,
did you have any, talks, books, etc., that inspired that?
I'm sure.
That seems like a very TED talk.
Yeah, it's a very
concept.
common thread in life. So I'm sure there was, but I think in that respect, like sometimes TED Talks are more like kind of intellectually sounding cool things than actualization tools for a lot of people.
For sure.
Because it wasn't until I did it myself and went through a year of trudging through trying to brute force it that I realized I was like, oh, like I get out of these ruts way quicker if I don't judge this process. And so, like around that time, I started picking it up again. And then I went through another rut and another rut and another rut. And each rut has gotten shorter and shorter. Like it went from like a 1 year rut to like 3 months to a month and a half, and now they're usually like a couple weeks.
Well, I wonder, because I think of you and I don't know anyone else. This is one of my favorite things about you is, in terms of dancing, is that I feel like you put more of an emphasis, maybe Diesel also, but similar guys, that on trying to push things to being bad, to like actively pursuing experimentation and exploration in a way where there's almost an active attempt to fail.
Absolutely. Because that is one pretty tried and true vehicle toward progress, especially in the creative process. Like, so one good thing that came out of me taking those ad classes with Abe was the teacher of those classes, Z Gavorkian. He's like a really smart guy, and he had this cool, like, him and the one other teacher that would kind of sit in on the class sometimes. They just had these cool frameworks for how they create, and I'm paraphrasing it, but he had it like a golden circle of sorts, and it was like, you get the brief, you figure out the topic, whatever they want, then you just do research. And for him, research is not, it's not like Googling it, figuring out, like, he hates dogs, and he had a pet food brief, so he borrowed his friend's dog for 2 weeks to like really just be a dog owner for a little while, and then he just pukes. He just like throws up whatever ideas, zero judgment, like the worst, most grotesque things. And then once he's done puking, he picks the few things that are good, takes those, develops them, shows them to people. If it doesn't work, go back to the brief, research some more, boom. And it's just like cyclic like that. And to see in person and to experience it for myself, how important the failure and the terrible shit part of the process was to everything, really made a huge impact on me, because that's also the hardest part, because that's the part where you have to really open yourself up to yourself. And again, this is why before we got on air, we were talking about this, but existing on technicality versus existing on essence. You can hide behind technicalities forever about, oh, I'm not creative, or it was, this is what I puked up, right? But the more honest you can be about your essence in a moment, the more you open up your capacities creatively. Yeah.
And so what is the trajectory, like, and it could be as simple as, well, it was that class I just told you, that you go from being like, the shy person in a shell to, I mean, that's really, to go to like the number one fear is public speaking, right? I mean, these are these kind of fears of puking up creativity, especially with your body, right? With dance, right? You're actually showing yourself. That seems like quite the trajectory, quite the jump to go from somebody who's scared to put themselves out at all.
I'm still scared.
But how? Right. But how? Good point.
Yeah.
How were you able? Because I feel like, I guess the reason I want to hone in on this is because I feel like this is a really common thing in this scene. Is this desire, we're all wanting to be creative, and at the same time we're all wanting to be good and be accepted by each other and be thought of, get props. Like, even I think one of the great things and horrible things about the dance culture is when you go in a circle, not always, but to some extent, you can kind of feel like, how are people reacting? And like, if you go out and you get it's like, okay, that happened. And,
Yeah, I mean, it just boils down to why you're in this, I guess. Kevin just posted a really interesting question. We should come back to that.
Yeah, say it.
Kevin, well, I mean, I want to kind of respond to you first.
Please.
But yeah, like, in a lot of ways, I still carry artifacts of my past self. Like, I'm still super nervous every prelim, whether it's like the smallest local jam or whatever, every judge demo, everything, every time I teach, every time I'm just sessioning at my house, like, there's that little artifact. And it's just about me just learning to further kind of surpass myself, and to not let those bad elements be the things that guide my art.
So I've been thinking recently, like, I've had a breakthrough. I don't even know if we've talked about this, but in terms of like realizing that I've never given myself time to just allow the music to come into my feet before trying to be dynamic. And that has really helped me a lot, like to look at a cypher session as like a story narrative, you know, and allow it to build up. Do you have things like that? So what are some of the things that you know, techniques or philosophies or whatever that you actively use to kind of surpass that fear?
Actively.
You know, you have things that you tell yourself before you're going into a prelim, like remind yourself, hey, just remember this, or just do this.
I think I just try to get myself to keep my eyes on the prize, like, and the prize being kind of who I want to be as a person, not necessarily the outcome of the battle. Like, winning the battle is not my first, second, or even third priority. It's like, I still want to win, right?
For sure.
But I think it's probably pretty obvious to anyone that watches me regularly that, like, I'm not getting up in faces. I'm not like burning anyone. I'm not even looking at people sometimes. Like, I've got a whole other set of goals when I battle. And the more honestly I can just stick to those and stick to the things that I currently believe will get me to where I want to be as a person. The better.
It was interesting. I want to give a very recent anecdote. So there was a versus style event this weekend, and Jordan was in the top 8 versus Mega Man, and ultimately lost. And
wait, is my mic on? Hello. Oh, the light went off.
Did it go off? Is it?
I mean, the levels are still. No, the light's off.
Oh, that's not good. That's never happened.
It looks like it's picking up on there.
What did he do?
Verify?
Check. Okay.
Can anyone verify that I can be heard?
Okay. We'll continue until somebody
watching,
says right. Until somebody says they can't hear you. So, and I was talking to Andre. Bob and Andre was there, and he was explaining, you know, how Mega Man danced much more for the crowd and battled and etc. And I went and talked to Jordan about this, and he was like, "Yep, yeah, pretty much. If you do that, you're gonna beat me, and I'm okay with that." And I actually found it. I hope this isn't too weird, but it was kind of moving. It was like, wow, that's like it was extremely inspiring to me to realize, like, what I guess the way I interpreted it and experienced it is it's such a long-term goal. You know, it's like I'm in this as a way to almost like as a self-examination technique to see more clearly who I am when I put myself in this situation. And that's fine that other people are like, I want the prize.
Yeah, and it doesn't even mean to belittle their quest.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, exactly. But I think I have never talked to anyone else that, I mean, maybe Diesel, that is thinking like that this is not primarily about winning. It's there, but it's not the main focus. And I think that I want to, you know, kind of say that explicitly, because I think it's a really valuable thing for people to hear, because I don't know that I had heard it before, right? It's not a common thing for a dancer in this kind of scene, this kind of competitive contest scene, to be thinking of, right? It's kind of unorthodox approach, to say the least.
I don't know. We don't know for sure, right? What everyone's on about.
I love it.
Like,
of course, that's true.
Like, I would probably argue that holotype, the win is not his number one concern. Yeah, like I'm sure if we talk to people, we'll find out otherwise. But yeah, like at least in that moment, it seems that way a lot of time, right? And I think part of it is that I'm not a professional dancer. Like dance doesn't pay my bills. What up, Baylor? And like that was honestly like a huge turning point in my dance life, was when I got my current job. And I didn't need to look to dance to support me financially anymore. My art completely freed up. Like I felt so much less pressure to be dancing a certain way or following a certain person or anything like that. and just over time, like that has worked its way into how I approach battles. Yeah. And I think it's like just my prime directives right now are really like, can I surpass myself and stay in the moment?
What does that mean to you, surpassing yourself?
Surpassing myself.
Is it just a feeling that you
yeah,
have?
yeah. Like, do I come away from it feeling like I took something there? And it can be in any number of things. It can be calming my nerves. It can be like accessing flexibility and strength, flipping a concept a new way. Like, but pretty much every time I'm in a cipher, practicing at home, in a battle, in it anywhere, like I'm in the lab. And the lab is not just a place to tweak kind of concepts in the physical realm. I think it's a place to also work on metaphysical concepts. Yeah. And so like every time I dance, it's an opportunity to work on that stuff. And anytime I dance where I feel like I haven't done that is when I start to feel like, come on, man, like let's do this.
Yeah, the first person I ever heard talk like that was Brian Greene, and he said long ago to me that one of the main things he loves about dance, and the cipher in particular, is like who you are is revealed to yourself and to everyone else,
or at least if you're open to it to
well,
yourself.
or if you're close to yourself, like because it's a, yourselves, maybe like a dynamic process of you, like who you are in that moment that you're dancing is made visible to people that can see it.
Yeah.
And I just felt that was like super profound, and it has definitely, I very much relate that at this point so much of dancing, especially around other people, for me is now this process of like how much am I able to allow myself to be observed while simultaneously honestly expressing what this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, and it's really hard, especially for someone who was like me growing up. Like there have been plenty of times where I just completely crumble under the pressure. Like Bionic used to get on my ass about this. I would literally like go on the floor and like roll, like just like roll over in my grave, like at the end of battles. And these were battles like sometimes, like I remember one time Bionic was like, dude, I was gonna throw a tie until you like rolled on the floor. Like and so yeah, it was like it was a super hard long battle. And even honestly, even being creative, you can use that as a crutch for your ego. Like I could make the argument that sometimes, and this has definitely been the case, sometimes when I've danced, I feel some pressure, like, oh, I don't want to look bad, but I guess I latch on to the idea that like, oh, well, everyone knows I just like to try crazy shit sometimes, and I just do that just to kind of escape some sort of different judgment. Like they're only judging you through that lens still. That's definitely been the case sometimes, and so it's not just the outcome. It's not just did I try something creative, but it's like what's really going on in here. Like what was driving that? And if what was driving that was some weak shit, then I'm not really pleased with the round.
Sure. Yeah.
Win or loss.
Definitely. And again, I really respect that and like that, because I think that there's sometimes an honest expression of what something makes you feel or where you're at is not good. And if you've gotten known potentially for being good, or if people see you as good, you're now like your ego wants to be afraid that you're like risking some reputation.
Right. And that gets progressively harder if you don't work on that from the get-go.
Yeah. Or actively like.
And real quick, I would kind of like to go back to Kevin's question.
Yeah, please.
Because that's something that I don't.
Diesel and Clarence, what's up?
What up? Yeah, so Kevin asked a little while ago, a lot of this creative process seems to be something that works for someone who is already proficient in a particular craft. How do you think the puking methodology would work for a newer dancer? I think on a results level, you're completely right. That, it's almost the same as when people are like, oh, get inspired by everything. I find that
sure.
I find that the people that have brilliant ideas off of everything are just people that were like already completely immersed on something to begin with. Like they primed themselves for that kind of inspiration. Um, so while I think the outcomes might not immediately be good, I just think that the type of traits you develop by honestly engaging with that kind of process are really good. And so even if initially the puking doesn't yield sick results, it just kind of puts in work on a kind of personal level that will lead to future sick results.
And I think too that it's sort of like an all paths lead to Rome situation, because when I hear that question, I think of myself versus Keon for some reason. And I got into this so formulaically, in the sense of like, it was just, I have to learn this Boogaloo foundation, and that is that. And I went up and down with it and felt, and it was really popular, and then it wasn't popular, and so on. And I felt like, oh man, I really lost something with that. And then, I start hanging around Keon, and it feels like he came in it from a totally different direction.
Absolutely.
And puking, and, to the point that people are rejecting what he's doing. And now my feeling is that they just lead to different places, both of which are wonderful places. Because now that I'm getting to a place of just embracing, like, oh wow, I have all this like training and foundation in this very specific thing, and if I don't judge whether it's a good or a bad thing to have foundation in, and instead just embrace it because it's like what I do and what I enjoy, I find like, oh wow, that's great. It's like I have this really solid structure, and maybe it's not the most unorthodox. What comes out is not the most unorthodox thing. So I think that it has a lot to do with in terms of newer dancer, if someone was actually actively trying to determine this, I think it has a lot to do with, where do you want to go? Do you want to have a very strong, solid technical foundation base, or do you want to be very creative? Okay. Look at that.
Expand on that.
Okay. Yeah. So Kevin, he's a smart guy, man.
For the balance, balance.
Okay, so Kevin talks about, most dancers tend toward creativity but never figure out technique. Conversely, places like Asia have foundation in tech. That was amazing. Future, what's up? But struggle with the creativity. Do you have advice for balance? You want to take? No. I don't. No.
I mean, there's that. No, I said yo.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot. There's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack in that. That's a really good one.
If I honestly, on some levels, I found when I was in Japan, especially in Osaka, I found them to be kind of creative. Like they're using a very limited range of vocabulary, but they know how they're able to flow and connect it. I mean, not everyone, of course.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's the super cloney type people, but like the guys I was getting down with, like they knew how to connect and feel through like really simple stuff, and they connected it in pretty novel ways. So I thought it was super cool. But like, that is a type of balance on some levels already.
Well, I mean, to go back to me and Keon analogy, I definitely, one of the things that's been exciting to me about like returning back to dance and spending more time with people like Keon and Jordan and Diesel, that none of them, maybe you more than the other two, are really this kind of like Boogaloo, foundation kind of approach. It's now causing me to explore this technical base more, whereas I remember you talking about Keon showing up one time at the UCLA practice and all of a sudden doing these like hard LA popping hits, these pop lock hits, and that he had to come back to the technique. So actually ultimately it makes me feel like if you stay in this long enough, it's kind of like bumper bowling. You're eventually gonna just bounce off of things,
but then the lane you're shooting in is also different depending on the person. So I think it depends on what balance even means, what creative balance even means for that person. because for those dancers in Osaka, they may have achieved it, right? For me, and the ways I like to implement creativity in my life at large, like outside of dance, I need to take a very different approach.
Elaborate.
Like, like I use creative processes like in my job every day.
Yeah.
When it just general decision making, and like different moments call for different kinds of creativities. Like creativity is often referred to as this like one trait, and people define it for certain research studies just for the sake of research. But like the type of I was hit hella hard when I went to Art Institute of Chicago, the museum out there, and they have this whole like surrealist section, and one of the side cards, I forget the artist's name, but he was basically like, my art doesn't mean anything, like it's just there. And it was like it looked like the most creative shit ever. And so I realized that like creativity doesn't have to be like this kind of logical generation of ideas, or even like kind of process oriented, right? Like even though the puking element of that earlier process I described is not necessarily inherently logical, it's still like processional.
Yeah.
And so for that guy, it's just like don't even.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I really resonate with that because I had this pivotal.
I feel like we haven't answered this question very well though.
I had this pivotal time with Sophie and Function, and I was showing them art that I like, and they were like, "Oh, that's so you," and I was like, "What does that even mean?" And they said, "Well, it just looks like whoever did that looked like they were having fun while they were doing it." So since that was like some huge epiphany for me as something to guide myself toward. And since that conversation, that has really been my focus in terms of puking, is like, okay, the checking in is like, am I having fun right now? And that is pretty close to this surrealist thing, right? And
yeah, maybe.
There's like
I don't know what he was
course,
really on
yeah,
about.
I love how you
Counterpoint. That should be my dance name.
Yeah,
Counterpoint.
Totally. But what was interesting to me for that is it's like, oh, that doesn't have any meaning. Fun is not meaning.
Yeah.
And I have been so obsessed with meaning that it's.
Well, I mean, it's its own meaning.
Well, of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't. It's not a meaning that you can put on a, like I'm trying to explore the
like a design problem or
yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Or, the class struggles.
Yeah, balance. Yeah, I mean, balance is tough. You just said it yourself, Kevin. But it's like,
No, I don't think so. Kevin asks now, JJ. Wow, you got heavy hitters. That Kevin asks, do you think that there's a certain minimum skill new dancers should get to before they start trying to explore the creative process?
I don't.
No, I don't either. But
Yeah.
I think that don't be surprised if you come into a scene and you have not done that people are looking at you like you're garbage.
Yeah,
and if you don't have the stomach for that, which I do not have the stomach for that, then don't be surprised that happened.
That's something similar that has actually been a place of a calming force for me in the LA popping scene, especially.
Yeah.
Where like, like I'm trying to like kind of build out and like do new things and build completely new kind of frameworks of movement. And I eventually realized after like being like not just like axed at prelims like so many times and like knowing, all the work I'm putting in and the general level I'm at. But I realized I was like, I can't really do something extremely new and ask for everyone to understand it. Like that's like really unfair of me to put out into everyone else's, put the onus on them to understand me at the outset, like my first time showing something.
Yeah.
And pretty much every time I dance, it's an attempt to make it my first time showing something. So I'm almost explicitly asking them to not understand it in some ways. And so that I became way more calm, like about that whole, like, does the scene hold back creativity, et cetera, et cetera. Like perhaps it does on some levels, but I'm not mad that the traditionalists exist, because if everyone was like me, like that we would never have any frame of reference of what popping even was to begin with. I'm not a historian,
Sure.
And so those people that are very historically accurate to their movements and like the cultural expressions that brought those about, like I'm super on board with it. It's not my way, and please don't ask it to be my way. But like I fully understand and respect why you would do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you're willing, if you're okay. The way that I've come to just accept this is like if someone is okay that knowing that everyone is judging them, or like we'll say the traditionalists are judging them, then great. You know, the only issue would be if the traditionalists are actively telling people to stop what they're doing. That as long as that's not happening, I agree with you. You can't force people to.
Yeah, and even if they are, it's like then the onus is on me to not let my ego be the driver of like really looking at my goals as a person and saying, well, I'm just gonna continue doing what I do. Like, yeah, and that Detours video was insane. But you know, there's a ton of people out there that would question, oh, is that popping or not? I still don't know to this day. But I know it's amazing dance.
I don't know why I'm saying this, but Smoke and I did a commentary I just put up last night of popping finals in Vancouver, and I felt like we came to the clearest definition of what popping is of any definition I have seen, where it's like a rhythmic dance with an emphasis on hitting on the clap. Where that is an emphasized thing, because what we saw was that it was almost like by process of elimination. We saw people not doing that, and it felt like not popping.
So you, just on a visceral level, you felt that? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally don't have a good definition of what popping is, because for me, like, there's so many approaches to movement that came up around the same sort of time and out of the same sort of scenes, that, like, you know, like boog leg work, like we're the only people that do that shit. But just doing that without the pop is not considered popping. And that part kind of makes me sad, because I would love, you know, like you did like some commentaries on Stakos before, right? Yeah. And Stakos is actually one of my favorite in the game. Yeah. Because he's like the only person that could dance like Skeet in the world. Sure. But like
a little bit, maybe.
Stakos has the frame for it though, you know.
Very much so. Yeah.
And yeah, he's just like so sick with it, and the fact that his dance is not driven entirely by the pop in the same way that, you know, like Firebox is. Yeah. Doesn't bother me at all, because he's proficient at a whole other host of things, not the least of which is just like being funky. Yeah, and that's all. Not even a slant on Firebox, who's also one of like my favorites.
Okay, let's come back a little bit before we move on to like some other aspect of this. So, like from 2014 on, what is a kind of trajectory? Like, when did you decide? Because at some point there was like, am I going to do this professionally or not? You know, these kind of things. Yeah. There's like battles won. There's if there are trips to Asia. So learning Quan.
I went to Taiwan in 2011. Okay. And Japan, but I didn't dance a whole lot in Japan. Just kind of hung out, because that was my first time there, and you know, as a Japanese guy, I was like, I should probably, you know, get this.
Observe. Japan tight. Yeah.
But yeah, I went to Taiwan partly because my friend Abe that commented earlier, he grew up there for a period of time, and they had an apartment there, so we had a place to stay. And before he made the jump into Art Center, and potentially me at that time, we wanted to like take a trip together. And also, Poppin' Quan was like one of my favorites at that time.
From the Sugar Pop video, or just?
I saw the one where he was dancing to DMX.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And his leg work was just like so unbelievably strong. Like, it blew my fucking mind. Yeah. And that was at a time when, like, outside of Sugar Pop, not many people were teaching boog in LA. Yeah. And I would go take Sugar Pop's class sometimes. Like, his class is actually super fun. But I went to go learn from Quan, because he actually can't really come back to the States right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, he like overstayed his visa when he was here. Well, he could in theory, but he doesn't feel like dealing with the applications or whatever. Yada yada. Yeah, I took his class like every week.
How long were you there?
I was there for 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I hung out with what at the time was Golden Youth, but now Pop and ED, Pop U.
Yeah.
Those guys like took super good care of me while I was out there. Yeah. They're like really great guys.
Dope.
And so it's always awesome when I get to see them back here like for freestyle session and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ed and well, his English name is Zach, but he just goes by Pop U. They just opened a studio out there.
Okay.
So, like, it's just like super dope to see them growing up like that. So I was just out there, just training. And I was sharing my style with them. They super loved it, but at the same time, they had some feedback for me that was really pertinent at the time. Around like, because that was a period of time when I hadn't quite yet figured out the feeling side of things. Like, I never had a moment where I just like released like some anger through dance that early on in the game for me. And so they're like, you should just like feel it a little more. And once I started applying that, it added a whole new layer onto how I processed the creative side of things, because the creative side spawns out of the feeling for me a lot now. Yeah.
And how did you go about accessing that if that wasn't something you had done before?
Yeah, that was possibly the beginning of me circumventing, or not circumventing, but like kind of like scooting past my ego when it came to the moment, because I started to just notice like times when I was less worried, or just like less worried was the bulk of it, were times that I did better and times that I was able to be more in the music. And so that was kind of the start of when I was like, I need to be serious about pushing myself through this.
That's such a funny sort of like built-in contradiction.
Dude, I'm a walking contradiction.
I need to be serious about not worrying. So what did you, so like you have this, let's just say, realization that like you do better when you don't worry, but great. How do you actually do that? Is it like mindfulness? Is that a good answer? Or
mindfulness is, identifying is a super big part of it. But there's a lot of people that identify problems in their life.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, it's the first step. I got to identify it. But then they just kind of leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Like identifying and then just kind of personal accountability. Yeah. Like holding myself to it, that, again, every single time I dance, I'm trying to push myself in some facet. Every single time.
Now, when you say push yourself, I'm hearing, and I want to see if I'm on like psychologically as much as creatively.
Both.
Or technically.
All the above. Physically.
Okay.
Yeah, technically, creatively, mentally, emotionally, socially. Yeah, like.
What do you mean socially?
Like there's many different dynamics a cipher can take. And the person that's in there at that moment has a large part of that. That's something that actually Popula and Holotype have been the biggest inspirations for me on like cipher etiquette. Yeah. Because it was through them. Like I remember I saw Popula in like 2012 or something, and he.
Thank you, Jojo.
Oh yeah, thanks, Jojo. And I hope you're having fun in Japan.
Yeah, big time.
He was ciphering, and he was just hopping between ciphers and just like kind of calling people out. But the whole time they were dancing, like just really like in it with them.
Oh,
and
I
like
love it
when
so
they would
much.
do something, he'd like do it too and just be like, whew, like,
Yeah.
And then he would just hop in right after and like go at it. And like it was like a very honest, like he lifted them up so that he could elevate himself further, and then he would elevate them again, and he would elevate himself even further. And the end result was they both grew from the process. And that was like crazy inspiring to me. Yeah. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, that changed the game for me, just like being there with him.
I love it.
And then Holotype is kind of very similar. Like,
oh, you were saying that was Popula.
That was Popula.
Oh, yeah, he's the dude. Popula is the best. Like he is the most inspirational. Without diverting from holotype, I also want to add in, I put Slim in that category too. I feel like Slim has a lot of that, like in a more gentle way.
Yeah,
like,
definitely more gentle.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
holotype is
yeah.
like, and for anyone that doesn't know holotype, like go look him up. His videos won't do him justice, but like that dude is one of the most amazing artists like on earth across the board. And he's just a great human being. He's about to have a baby. Congratulations. But yeah, he's just like so explicit in his intent to make you kill it. Like he almost wants to force you to kill that shit. He like literally like takes his energy out of himself and just throws it at you. And it's just like it really works. Like every time I'm around him, I dance way better.
Yeah, I think
He said you're dropping frames.
Yeah, I'm sure. I believe it. I can kind of see it. We'll restart it at some point. That's all I can.
Yeah,
say.
it's like completely stuck right now.
Yeah. No.
Or maybe we're just not moving too much. I don't know. Yeah, it's super cutty. Oh well. Damn.
All right. Yeah, I don't. All I can think is that it's like it's Netflix time, and that all the world's bandwidth is going to Netflix at this hour. I don't know. I just genuinely.
Do you have one network in your house?
I'm into but
let me hop off your Wi-Fi.
No, dude, it doesn't. That's not going to do anything.
The number of connections does a little bit.
I'm in Ethernet. Like I'm directly in. So I just don't understand. I have to say, unfortunately.
Hey, Clarence, is the audio lagging or is it just the video?
Yeah.
And he'll answer in like whatever 30 seconds.
Yeah, 90 minutes. One of the things I've noticed recently with this is that
it says audio is fine.
Okay, great. I've
Damn,
been
frames though, bro.
but it's recording. So it's totally the recording is completely fine. So when it goes onto my YouTube, it will be completely okay. What's my upload, dude? The upload jumped. Oh boy, here we talk about a diversion. Like it goes from 4,000K a second, and then it drops to 2,600, and then it goes down, and then it comes up, and then it goes. I don't know why. It always happens too when I'm like an out. Yeah, it did it for me and Smoke too. I don't know why, man. I just genuinely look. It's like and it always happens in about
this area
an hour
fiber
in.
enabled?
We have like 300 megabits a second down,
Okay.
It's like, it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I really
well, this is up. That's the problem, right? Maybe you got like some 310 or something.
Yeah, it is. It is 10.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, come on,
But
dog.
10 is, but look, it's like 4. We don't need more. We don't need 10.
All right.
Should I even, does it even matter? Okay. I'm just going to pretend like that whole thing didn't even happen. So, what I have noticed as someone attempting more and more to be like that, like in a cipher, I think one of the things that comes up for me is when I do that, the person it's almost like some kind of magic pill. I can see that they start doing better because it's as though I'm giving them energy and they feed off of it because it's like, oh, this is good what I'm doing, so their body becomes more free. And the fear that I experience oftentimes is that they start doing so well that, and my hyping it up makes me want to go in after, right? And then it's like, oh shit, like that's a lot to live up to. They did really well.
Yeah.
And so I feel I've started to this is just like a pet theory that part of the reason that doesn't happen more, because I don't experience like a ton of people doing that. Oftentimes I even notice like, I'm like Smoke does it for sure. I'm like the only one that's going like, nice, yeah. It's like a lot of like.
Yeah, Deshaun does it a lot too.
Yes, Gold. Yeah, Gold's. Yeah.
I think for me mentally, I try to make when I'm in that moment, like where I want the cipher to be about that kind of, everyone elevating everyone. I just kind of try to frame my own dance around this idea of like how open I'm willing to be, and less around did I specifically kill it. And if each round I'm willing to be more and more open, I still consider it like a success, like a successful round, because it kind of ups the stakes a bit. At least You know, because it depends, right? Because killing
Wait,
it.
if you don't kill it, if somebody kills it and then you don't kill it, then the stakes
But I
went
think
down.
well, I think
didn't
it depends how you're looking at it, right?
Okay.
Because someone can kill it from a completely like ego-driven approach, like where there's like, yo, I'm the fucking best. Like,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah. That's not the kind of cipher I super enjoy.
Okay.
But like more, like like I was more and more open, and usually, like I said, when I'm more and more open, I tend to kill it more and more. Sometimes I don't, but
Yeah.
like it's that internal process that if that's what's driving it,
I definitely agree
and if that's
with that.
what's driving it kind of mutually across the board, everyone will continue to elevate each other.
Yeah, and
Whether your
yes,
technical level is high or not.
definitely. I completely agree with. But the anxiety of
Get past it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
right. Well, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. But I'm thinking of it. I'm like thinking of this analytically in the sense of like, why isn't this happening more? Why like when I'm listening, I'm like, wait, that person just did something crazy. Why am I the only one vocalizing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
that?
not everyone's on the same wavelength about why they're there in that moment, or maybe they're letting that fear be the driver.
That's what
at the
that
end of
if
things.
I had to guess, that's
Yeah.
the answer.
And so to that, I would
that's
just
why I bring it up. Is
Yeah.
because it's like I actually think that we're getting pretty close, and you know we could also use this to restart the stream like relatively shortly. Is like into this whole concept of singularity style and everything and the purpose for the whole thing. But I definitely think that there's a tremendous amount of fear going around
around the world. Right, like
touche.
like very easily fear could drive me every single day, and so I think if that's what we're seeing around ciphers, and if you and I do believe it to be, or if anyone believes it in themselves to be kind of driven by like anxiety about needing to kill it more or whatever, I would just say like audit your own kind of mental processes or your own approach to the cipher. Like
And what has really been helping me more and more is the realization that especially if you're in a cipher with like dancers, that as long as you remain connected to the music, people are enjoying what you're doing. There's like an inherent joy in watching someone be in the moment, responding to the music that's actually playing at that moment. And I find that because I find myself a lot of times now in mixed level ciphers, and even I find myself really enjoying people that are clearly kind of on the beginner level if they stay with the music. It makes me realize that, while I may enjoy someone at a technically higher level, it doesn't.
What does staying with the music mean to you?
It means, I actually think for me that I feel like I see it in people's faces more than anything else.
So it's not specifically a like hitting beat.
No,
X,
not
y,
at
or
all.
Z. Okay.
It's that so there's a little bit of it. Maybe it's not a tangent. I was in a mime workshop like 13 years ago or something, and we did this exercise, this improvisation exercise, where you were to go up and you were just to allow something to emerge out of you improvisationally. And it's one of the most like defining moments of my artistic life, because what I saw was that I could almost instantaneously determine whether someone was present or not, whether they were attempting to think up something to do, or whether they were there. And the teacher of this mime workshop was like a guy who's like 81 and just a total master, studied with Marcel Marceau, blah blah blah. And I found that his observations and mine were like exactly the same. And I was in my early 20s, so I had no confidence in my eye or anything like that. And it was like, oh my God, it's really that simple. Are you actually there or not? And everyone, whether they have the, intellectual framework to know this or not, they feel it. And if you're there, they feel that you're there, and you become infinitely watchable, because we as social animals are inherently interested in each other. And it was like, wow, it's really that simple. And that, to me, again, is a potential beginning of a bridge to this whole singularity style. Like, that's what can hold together a dance community where many different styles.
Yeah.
include-
You know, I'm gonna have like 10 counterpoints.
I
but
love
yeah.
it.
I could see that being the case. I could see that, but the reason I even posed that
sure.
question was because Nico, the guy that made the pozole when you came over.
Yeah.
He was training with me for like a year, and like was not a dancer at all beforehand, and it was just like so obvious to me, like right out the gate. His hit was like always offbeat, but I always felt, I was like, this fool's like way in the music. Like, yeah. And it was just like you just caught it viscerally. And
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's why in terms of offbeat, I know this isn't the point of what you're saying, but that's why in my mind, pointing out offbeatness is just like helpful thing. Like, it doesn't mean you're not connected to
it's
the
almost
music.
like
It just means
aesthetic.
that what you're experiencing and what the people around you are experiencing are not one and the same. And that's kind of like, to go back to Kevin's thing about technique. I feel like that's kind of what technique is it's the ability to have your inner creativity read to people other than you.
Depends on
Love this guy.
Yeah, you caught me at like the worst.
I love the
fucking
best
time.
the best
The best and the worst time.
So the best of times, it was the worst of times. I think we should cut this and go to the best of times, worst of times. What do you think?
I mean, sure. Are you gonna restart the stream? Or do you think that's even gonna help?
Yeah, it does. It always helps.
It always helps.
Yeah. And the reason I haven't done it yet is because if I stop the stream, it'll stop the record.
Got it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's on you. Like,
Okay.
I could take a piss or something.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to be right back, and I genuinely think everything will be better. So we'll be right back. Okay, peace.